Okay, folks, so let's talk about framework. Framework is how we're going to organize all of the stuff that makes up your classroom. Now, to make up your classroom, you're going to need a couple things. Number one, you're going to need a way to send stuff out to students and parents. So you're going to need to communicate out assignments, resources, schedules, learning goals, etc. But the second thing you're going to need is you're going to need a way to get things in from students and or parents, and that's going to be just as important because all of this stuff that we send out, communication, has to be a two-way street. All the resources we send out has to also come back to us in the form of either formative or summative assessment. We also want to make sure that the framework we have utilizes good social emotional resources so that, again, as I reach out to students, I'm getting information back in from students on how they're doing. All of this means we have to have a framework. Now, most of the time we call this an LMS, a learning management system. Well, Google has what amounts to a learning management system built in, and that is Google Classroom. So let's go ahead and take a look at Google Classroom right now. To get to Google Classroom, you simply go up to your 9 block or your ice cube tray, depending on which way you want to refer to it, and you're looking for a little chalkboard. There he is right there. And that chalkboard with students on it takes you to a Google Classroom. Now, you may have a Google Classroom set up. It may be set up by your system administrators, or you may need to set up a fresh one. Let's go ahead and set up a fresh one. The reason we're going to go to set up a fresh one is because everything you do, you're in essence going to hit the plus button. So in this case, I want a new class, plus button. I'm either going to join a class or create a class. Well, for you as the teacher, you're going to create a class. If you were a student, you would join a class. And we'll get into how to do that here very shortly. So we want to create a class. And in this case, we're going to call this Test 2. And I'm not going to put anything else in there. The reason is you don't have to have all the details all at once. All of this can be edited at a later point. So in this case, Test 2. And what it's going to do is it's going to create an entire class just for us, but it's going to be in essence empty. Now, it says with Meet, you can connect with your students with distance learning. This is going to be very, very important, especially if you're in a distance learning situation, e-learning situation, where you're not with your students. So let's go ahead and generate that link, and that's going to be the Meet link for our classroom. But I can copy it and send it out at any point to the students that I want to have a meeting. Do I want it visible to students? In most cases, no. Because unless I'm there to moderate or be a part of that meeting, in the K-12 situation, most of the time we do not want that meeting link available. We can turn that meeting link on when it's time to meet with students and turn it off when we're not meeting with students. So for now, we're going to leave it off, although we've generated it. Okay. Very simple, very basic. Let's talk about the big basics of Google Classroom.